The dreaded vending machine. You stand before it, tasked with the ultimate decision. Decade-old donuts at B7 or empty calories at E4. Yummy. Let Walmart's low prices help you snack smarter with 5.3-ounce Oikos 000 Greek yogurt for $1 and 4 packs of Light and Fit protein shakes on rollback for $5. Smart Snacker 1, vending machine 0. Start strong, save big. Walmart.
CRV deposit fee and tax may apply.
Blog Talk Radio.
Basically.
What the hell is that?
I'm sorry. Well.
Welcome to the Will and Thunder Show. Will and Thunder Show. Thunder. Will and Thunder Show.
Welcome to the Will and Thunder Show.
Woo! Welcome in. It's Tuesday night. Yes, I said Tuesday night. Tuesday is the new Friday, especially with the Will and Thunder Show on. Especially, we're back in the saddle again. Back into this. It's January 2015, and we're ready to rock and roll, man. Getting back to the format of things. We got a great band coming on here for you tonight, man. I am Kevin Thunder, and had a little episode on Facebook today. Someone was asking what they should do on a Tuesday night, so I was telling them come check out the Will and Thunder Show, and they're like, "What's the Will and Thunder Show?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's the most fun you can have on a Tuesday." They said a Tuesday. I said, yes, a Tuesday. Come check it out. They're going to change a restaurant from TGI Fridays to Thank God It's Tuesday. Then they're going to play the Will and Thunder Show. Come on now, come in and have some fun. How you doing there, Will?
I'm doing great, but I mean, it sounds like it's the most fun you can have inside an aluminum can.
Really?
Yeah, Thunder, you really need to give up that headset or whatever you're using because it sounds like the aliens have come or.
Well, maybe I am in an aluminum can, and maybe I am having fun. You need to ask what's in the aluminum can.
It's no fun if we can't hear you.
What's in the aluminum can?
All different sorts of frosted malted beverage, maybe.
Jealous.
I think it's pretty cramped in there, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be?
Well, he is
I
short.
am the Thunder Midget.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that could
The
be a nice
16-ounce can.
A nice coat. Damn. Well, we got a really cool show for you tonight. We've got the return of Scary Justin. He's coming back with some movie trivia. I think he's got 3 ridiculously hard questions for us to make us look like complete asses. Even though we do a good enough job of that on our own, he thinks that he can do a better job. And if we're going to use last week as a measuring stick, then he's right.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Last week, completely looked like idiots on there. And, you know what? But the thing is here that this is going to tune us up, get our horror film knowledge up there, and it'll help the fans as well. So, we'll just go and have a little fun with this, and Justin might learn us a thing or two.
Right.
Yeah, we learn a lot about horror movies. And, well, last week was great because we had Kronkenwelpen on with us. And whenever they come on the show, it's always just the crazy factor always just goes up a couple more notches, so that's always fun.
It gets 10 to 11.
That's right.
Definitely. It gets turned a little bit more than 11 with Kronkenwelpen here.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
But that's why we love them.
We've also got a brand new bit tonight. Chris, the Lady in Black, has a little bit, and it was kind of inspired by something on Twitter, but we're going to kind of take it and run with it and do it every week, and we'll talk more about that later. We'll be doing that probably around, 11:40 or so, right before we bring Scary Justin on.
Well, Will's the one who found this, and so I'll let him do it for the first time this week, and then I'll take over from then on out. But yeah, it's mainly because I'm still trying to think of what we're going to call it. So, because that's how we roll on the Will and Thunder show, by the seat of our pants.
That's right, seat of the pants, off the cuff. Why not?
That's right.
Oh man, so is Peyton Manning going to retire?
I don't know. What a week it is. Yeah, that was kind of a, they come out with reports now that, for the last month he's been playing injured. And, why not just come out and say, look, I've been in the league forever. I'm not as good as I used to be. I'm older. People understand my play. I'm not as mobile as I was. I might not have the arm I used to have. Why does it have to come down to that? Why can't we just have dignity anymore? And say, you know what? The games, I'm playing against 23-year-old kids that are 400 pounds and can run a 4.40, and I just, not as quick as I used to be.
Right.
Maybe he hasn't announced he's retiring yet because he hasn't found a way to put it to the nationwide jingle.
Right, and whether he retires or not, this,
Am I the only one who got that joke?
Hey, I think it's time to retire.
Well, it does. I can't play that good anymore. Or I don't know.
I can't play that football.
Time to sell more pizzas.
You know what? We better stop before Nationwide comes after us. The aliens will be the least of our problems.
Look, that's why I'm doing mine one-off right there.
There you go.
But, yeah, I mean, look, man. There's a commercial out there right now, speaking of football. The Joe Montana commercial. Not the Papa John's one, but the other one where they're all sitting there. It was last night during the college championship game.
And we talked about that last week.
It is so funny. Right? Well, I saw it for the first time, and that is the most hilarious thing I've ever seen right there. He just puts his hand up there, and he's like, yeah, that's nice. Nice to compliment, guys. That is hilarious.
Yeah.
Man, look, and I looked at his hand, and those championship rings have to weigh, 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds apiece. Look, man, that is ridiculous right there. I don't know how he put his hand up to his face.
He puts his hand up to his face and knocks a tooth out.
Oh, mercy. Lucky he didn't dislocate his jaw trying to hold on to it. But anyway. But, yeah, so, I think Peyton Manning, he's on the cuff right now. He's going to do the Brett Favre thing. I think he'll probably come back this year. They were out talking today where Elway's already said that he wants him back. And so they'll probably be in, contact with him in talks. And he'll probably come back and play one more year, is what I think. But now with looking at it, you have to see they have a lot of free agent players on that team that could go elsewhere, and this could be a whole new team. Now, they're going to have a new coach, obviously. But so that's the big thing right there is seeing who they can keep on the team to try and keep Peyton there. And if he does come back, is this going to be that season like the Dan Marino last season where, he should have retired the year before? Or is he going to go ahead and bow out gracefully? I mean, he didn't have a bad season this year, don't get me wrong. I mean, he didn't go out on top, but, I mean, I think it would be in his best interest probably to retire now. And I think the best thing for him would be to go into coaching.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't know.
Sorry, I'm typing an email. Well, go on, do the show, guys.
You need some help there.
I'm just saying, that's the only thing I was thinking about.
You need some help there, Will, right there.
Hey, I may have an announcement that would require a drum roll here. So
well then in that case, let me do that.
Well, I don't know yet. Not yet.
Okay. All right.
Anyway, as we were saying, and about football, last night was the college national championship game, and the Ohio State Buckeyes did take it. And I'm not going to take it away from them. They do deserve it. I mean, to win a football game after giving the ball back to the other team 4 times.
Yeah.
You got to give them their props. I mean, offensively, they were definitely better than Oregon was. They had Oregon figured out, and I'll tell you what, Ohio State, they can run the ball. They can run the ball very well. It was ridiculous. I mean, some of the holes they were opening up right there, you could have drove a space shuttle through. I mean, forget a semi-truck. I mean, you could have put the space station through them.
Yeah, you could have driven one of the crawlers that carries the space shuttle through it.
Oh,
and
man, it was insane.
They had enough time for something like that to get through as well.
Oh, man, I mean, but, Oregon, they stayed strong the first half. They created a couple turnovers right there. Ohio State gave them a couple turnovers. It looked like it was going to be close, and then the second half, Ohio State just came out. They held onto the ball. They figured out, I don't know, they went and put some, super glue on their hands to quit throwing the ball away, but they came out there and they played well. I mean, it was great. And then just insult to injury, the very, end of the game, minute or so left, they punch it back in, to score one final touchdown.
Of course. That's what happens when you don't have any teams from the South in there.
And,
I keep hearing people talk about the ACC and SEC. Where, you know what? The two teams that were there deserve to be there.
I know. Florida State got their asses handed to them by Oregon. So, I mean, whatever. But what Jameis Winston sent a tweet out like after they got their asses. He says, yeah, we lost, not happy about it, but hey, at the end of the day, we'll still have the exact same number of losses as the champ.
I understand that, but I mean,
that's a way to look at it.
You know what? I understand what you're saying right there, but in the same aspect, do you really think that FSU could have stood up to Ohio State?
I think they could have, Ohio State, it's smash mouth football, and that's what Florida State plays. So, yeah.
I don't know if I agree with you there. I think Ohio State was the better team right there. And, Oregon, I mean, Oregon is that fast, confuse you offense right there, and they just slowed them down. They beat them in the trenches on both sides of the ball, and that's where it is right there. And, I really think that, Florida State, as good as they are, I mean, they're not a one-trick pony, but, I mean, they have Winston and they have that one receiver. But beyond that, they're not that deep. They don't have that depth. And I don't think that they could have pulled it off. I really think that Ohio State would have come through victorious on that end, too. I don't think they, I don't know. I mean, that's just my opinion. I think that Ohio State was the better team, and which is hard for me to say because I really dislike Ohio State.
Yeah, especially with all the class, how they so tactfully burnt their whole freaking college down after the win.
And, and that makes me madder than anything. And it's not just Ohio State. That's anything in the United States. With everything that's going on around this country right now, all the shit that's going down in Paris, and, there's ISIS and all that, and people across the world in countries like Rwanda and things like that who might have a march because they want to eat dinner tonight. They're going to have a rally or they're going to have a riot because of religious persecution. And we go, our team won, so we're going to burn down the city. You jackass.
Exactly.
Good for you. Yeah, your team won, and you're going to go out and get your T-shirt tomorrow that says Ohio State champions, but where are you going to stay tonight because you burned your apartment to the ground because you're trying to light your couch on fire, you jackass.
That's probably why we don't have a team in L.A. anymore, because we riot and burn down shit even when the team wins. Like when the Lakers won the championship, we burnt down shit.
That's it. The Lakers won. Burn it to the ground.
Yeah, well, I didn't burn anything, but, I mean, I'm talking about the city,
I understand.
I'm too lazy to, I'm one of those people that's just like, I'm too lazy to get this enthusiastic about anything.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I always say I could never have OCD, because, the first couple of times I would try to be that orderly, I'd just be like, fuck it. This is too hard. I don't want to clap 4 times every time I open a door. It's just too much work. Screw this.
Well,
let's do something what?
Let's do some.
I'm the type of person where if I was OCD, I analyze everything so much. I look at every little thing, and maybe that's mentally OCD. I mean, I don't sit there and use a door, 4 times to open the door. But if I did, I'd analyze, why the fuck am I doing this 4 times?
I would think that's part of the problem with OCD, because I'm certainly not trying to make light of the situation, because there are people.
No. It's a serious situation. But it is funny.
With a disorder, but obviously I would think that overanalyzing it is all part of that. A part of them knows it's this habit that seems silly or feels silly or, might even to them be silly, but for some reason they have to do it. So I would think that it's all just a vicious cycle. You're overanalyzing it, which makes you even more obsessive compulsive and so on and so forth. So I would, I feel bad that.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
It's like me. and why I do this, I don't know, but I dream about work all the time. Like, you know, I'll be at work and I'll be in the weeds. I'm a bartender. So I'll dream that there's, like, you know, 30 people at my bar and everybody's running my ass off, right? And halfway through my dream, and I'm like, oh, I can't get caught up. I'll stop at my dream, and I'll be like, dude, this is a fucking dream. You don't have to do this. I mean, it's not real. You do not have to run your ass off. They're not real people. And I know that's the weirdest thing, but I mean, for real, in the middle of my dream, I'll be like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah, honestly, I have the same dreams. Like, I dream about going to the store all the time. The thing that I hate doing the most. And it's weird because in real life, I hate going to the store. I hate doing tedious, menial tasks. I hate it. I don't like going anywhere unless it's somewhere fun. So it's weird that in my dreams I'm going to the store. I'm either on my way there or trying to figure out what I'm going to pick up from the store, and I'm thinking, why am I dreaming about this? I hate doing it in real life. This sucks.
I know why.
Why?
It's your inner prissy chick trying to, you know, letting you know that she's buried deep down somewhere underneath all that metal, and she really would like to go shopping.
It's not shopping like for clothes or anything fun though. It's always grocery shopping. It's not for anything fun.
That doesn't make any difference. She's taking what she can get.
Yeah, I don't know any woman who likes shopping who likes going to the grocery store.
There's a big difference between going to get a pair of shoes and buying some margarine.
Like, yeah, let's go hit the Walmart and let's go hit.
I'm gonna go window shopping for margarine. I really wish I could get the country crock, but I'm gonna have to get the blue bonnet instead.
We do get happy when there's sales on good food and things like that, but we're not all with our girlfriends like, oh, I need to go get that stock of celery, you know, before they run out. I need to have 500 pairs of pears, you know.
Pairs of pears.
Right.
Anyway.
So that's like 1,000 pairs. Damn.
Yeah. So something like that, but PEARS.
Millions of peaches.
Something like that. But you know, no, actually, I only get excited for shopping for metal T-shirts. Like that's my shopping addiction.
I'm wearing my freaky in your face shirt right now. Anyway, let's do some news. What do you say?
What's in the news? Let's hear some news.
A really cool jingle to start off with.
Well, let's do it.
What's up? Damn. I got a few news stories to kick off our first official show with an actual band guest on, but we're all too familiar with this. Where the argument of one particular member makes the band, right? Of course.
Yeah, there's certain bands where it's kind of not really a debatable issue, and then there's other bands where it's just, come on, you're out of your mind.
Right. Now, which category would you put TNT in if without Tony Harnell?
I don't know that much about the band to where I can not answer that for you.
Okay, Thunder, do you think TNT would be TNT without Tony Harnell?
Hey, would they be as popular without him?
No, would the music sound right? Would the music sound
right?
Yeah,
would the spirit of the band be the same?
Nah, probably not.
Yeah, and I would have to agree. I mean, Tony Harnell has, one of the coolest, most unique voices. But, Tony Harnell is a dick. I said it.
Lead singer.
He gets back together with TNT after years and everything, and decides, announces the big announcement. Yeah, we're working on an album and everything. He just up and quit again for, I don't know exactly why, but he just up and quit again. And then the remaining members of the band are like, oh, we're not dead. We're gonna keep going. And I never get. I never got to see TNT concert, but why? If it was that big of a drag on you to rejoin the band and do a tour and then tease all of us American fans that love that love TNT so much and everything, come out and saying, yeah, we're back and we love you guys. We're going to make a brand new album, and all of a sudden just nope, I don't think so.
Right, now I understand what you're saying there. At that point right there, as a fan, though, is where you have to draw the line there and say, you know what? I love the band. And, yes, you are one of the major keys to this band, but you are not the band.
Right.
It's time where, you know what? I'm still going to support the band. And you know what? Go ahead and do a solo project. I'm not going to support you. As much as I like you as an artist, you burned a bridge. You burned a bridge to me. It's kind of like the whole thing.
I was going to say this smacks a lot of the Queensryche Jeff Teets situation in a different way, but it's almost kind of like that, the whole egotistical, the singer thinking that because I was going to say maybe they can do like Queensryche did and find a hotshot young guy that sings the tunes just as well and carry on. Maybe the music won't be the same, but at least they don't have to completely fold, or they have options maybe.
I mean, I do think that if they got somebody. But I don't know. There's a big difference between the situations here. I mean,
and I do understand that as well. But at the same aspect, though,
Jeff Tate was kicked out of Queensryche. Tony Harnell quit.
Right. But I think
that's what gives you even more reason.
The whole egotistical thing, though, is like, to me, it just seems like there's a lot of similarities there, where it's just, that whole thing of, well, I'm going to do it, but I'm not going to do it, and then. The whole attitude of you're nothing without me, that whole thing. That's the similarity that I kind of see there a little bit.
I call it the Ross Perot effect.
Okay.
Oh, come on, that was funny.
You lost us on that.
I'm gonna do it. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. I'm back. I'm gonna do it. Nope. I'm not gonna do it.
I was actually gonna ask, has he been hanging out with Mike Portnoy, because he kind of did that for a minute with Dream Theater, like, I quit. And then, I had a month off, and I realized I miss you guys. I want back in. Sorry, we found your replacement. Bye.
It's just at a point there. See, this right here, and, I understand to an extent right here, I mean, the ego end of things, all right? You worked your whole life, and all of a sudden, man, you're a superstar. But, now you're at a point right now, you got to hold on a second, all right? You're TNT. Now, this is no longer the 80s and the 90s. Mm-hmm. Yes, you still have a fan base, but you are not the top of the food chain anymore.
Right.
So, I mean, it's one thing to come out and go, especially, if it was, early on in the career and they were having serious problems and maybe it was issues with the band versus him and, he's like, well, I can't work with these guys because of, maybe, writing issues or, and he came out and did it with some class. But to come back, oh, yeah, here we go, and then all of a sudden, fuck these guys again. That's, and right now, especially in this day and age, in the evolution of metal music where it's sitting right now, and it's, trying to grab hold and get back on, to the top. You got to watch your steps a little bit, man. It's like starting over almost for some of these bands that were around back then. That, you have to build your audience again. Yes, you might have a base audience, but you know what? The base audience you had back then that were in their 30s and 40s are in their 60s and 70s now, and they're kicking the bucket. You want to keep this shit going on, you got to get the younger generation and, the people like us who listen to them, to stay on the bandwagon right there.
Well,
you can't go around acting like a complete jackass.
Right, and in this day and age, we've learned from bands like Journey, from bands like Queensryche and several other bands out there that you don't have to settle for, we're not in that age anymore of the singer is the whole band and you can never replace your singer without major failure. Like there are people who literally spend their entire singing training trying to emulate a particular singer, and there's somebody out there that's trying to emulate this guy and is ready, and you know what, like here I am, I've been emulating this guy and I sound just like him, here I am ready to go. I'm not going to dump you guys, and I want to do this and live my rock and roll dream, and people don't have to settle for dealing with dickhead singers anymore if they don't want to. In this day and age, there's a dozen guys lined up behind you ready to take your place, and probably in some cases do it just as well as you did or better.
And
well, there was
the whole idea that started that whole.
There was a.
Sorry, Will.
There was
Go ahead.
YouTube there was a concert that they did. When they first got back together, it was in Sweden or Finland or wherever TNT is from. Now, Tony Harnell is an American, but I mean, I'm sitting there, I'm watching them do some of these songs and everything, and I was just like, oh my God, this takes me back. And it panned the audience, and there was a couple grown men sitting there bawling their eyes out when they played Intuition. And I was just like damn, I mean, their music is that powerful, and they can't, and he thinks he's going to get that type of a response with some solo band. I don't think so.
Right. Well, that's what I was just saying right there. I mean, you have to understand, you have to count your cards and know where you're sitting there. I mean, you take bands as big as, at one time like the Beach Boys, how much they have adapted and changed. And keeping their music alive. And I understand it's a different realm, don't get me wrong here, but, it comes to that point. All these bands that are out there right now, and especially a lot of the bands that were from the, mid-'70s that are still out touring right now, they're still making money, might have one original member, and there might be 5 different entities of that same band. If
well,
you
yeah,
go
the Beach
see,
Boys, Brian Wilson hasn't even been in that band for, the better part of 30, 35 years, so... that's a good example right there of that.
It's just to the point where, look, you have to understand that, look, my career may not be over, but my career is at a point where, look, I'm best known for being with these guys right here. This is what people want to see, and this is what I need to give people. I don't, 20 years ago, I could tell them I want a bag of M&Ms in my room, and I don't want all the green ones. I don't like the green ones, so take them out of the bag, and someone's going to sit in there and take every green M&M out of there. You're not at that point now. They're going to tell you to fuck off and eat the green M&Ms or throw them out yourself.
Well, speaking of M&Ms, we've got another, story related to that.
Really? I just pulled that out of my ass. That is so awesome. Look at that.
Yeah, you could not have dreamed up a better segue to this next news story, kind of.
I'm going to tell you right now, this is so awesome that we are so in tune with each other right now. We have been doing this long enough now that without even knowing, my subconscious pulled the M&Ms out for the next story. That, you know what that means right there?
What?
I'm in your heads, guys. I'm in your heads.
The aliens planted a microchip in all 3 of our brains so that we can constantly read each other's minds.
That's a possibility.
There is a possibility there. But the scariest part is that I'm in your heads.
Okay.
And I don't want to be there. I don't want to be there. The shit I've seen. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, the good news is it's not a bass player death or mutilation, so.
I hope not with M&Ms.
No, well, it doesn't have anything to do with M&Ms. It just has to do with the band that originated the M&M myth, which is Van Halen, which we all know is infamous for the whole we don't like brown M&Ms in our dressing room.
I got you. Go ahead.
We got a story about them, so go ahead, Will, because for me, this is further proof as to why I believe the Van Halen brothers to be the douche masters of the universe. So go on.
Now, hold on. I think we may have differing opinions on this because, anyway, the Alex Van Halen, his wife did a cologne line, a perfume line, and it was using the ex-wife. Yeah, ex-wife did a perfume and it had the Van Halen name on it, and Alex Van Halen basically sued and said, no, you're not even my wife anymore, so go fuck yourself. So apparently a judge threw it out and said that she does, ruled that she has a right to use the name. I think that's horse shit.
Well, see, I didn't know anything about the perfume line because the news story I read was that his ex-wife had this construction company or this interior design company, and she had been calling it, I think her name is Kelly, Kelly Van Halen Design, and she'd been calling it that for years. And
play the jackass. You're right. I had 2 stories confused. Yeah,
well then, yeah.
I tried to do it, but.
So yeah, maybe we do agree on the douchebaggery of the Van Halen brothers. Then let's find out.
Okay, so anyway, the ex-wife has a company that she's been using, and it's a design company using her married name.
Yeah, her ex-married name. And basically, the lawsuit is just, I guess Alex's argument is we don't want any unfair competition. And my only question is, when did the Van Halen brothers open up a construction company? Was it during the years that they were dicking around with Gary Cherone? I mean, when did they open up a construction company that's competing with Mrs. Van Halen's construction company?
The only thing that, I mean...
Like, what do they build? Houses of Pain? I mean...
All I can tell you right now is that, I mean, she'll win that lawsuit. She was married to him. She's allowed to have that name. She is not forced to change her name when she's divorced unless it was in the divorce decree. And if it wasn't in the divorce decree, then she can use that name as long as she wants to.
Yeah, I mean, in this day and age, when prenups are set out and written down to the letter, if that wasn't part of the prenup, or if he didn't make provisions for that situation, in case we are divorced, you cannot use your married name, then you know what? You kind of open yourself up to it happening to you. And if this isn't something that you could foresee or put in your prenup that you didn't want happening, then it's kind of a risk that you take when you get divorced. So,
yeah. Well,
but I just think it's another douchebag move on the Van Halen brothers' part. It's just another way that they kind of show what assholes they are.
Well, I mean, I can understand him saying, I don't want you using our name, I don't want it affiliated there, but the point of the matter is you should have thought this beforehand. And see, that's the thing is, and when you write these prenup agreements, a lot of people are thinking financial and first and foremost of anything. That's it.
Yeah, and if she's been using this, it'd be one thing if she just opened up, because I guess they've been divorced for several years, so it'd be one thing if she just opened up this company in the last 2 weeks and decided, hey, I'm going to use the Van Halen name, then I'm totally on his side about that. But if she's had this company for quite some time and she's established a clientele and has a reputation and people know her name, then it's kind of expensive for her to go back and change all the names, change the stationery, change the website or whatever it is, all this stuff that she has under this name. So I can kind of, in this respect, I kind of do understand her viewpoint on it, or at least her side of the argument. Right. Because normally I'm all for the, if a couple gets divorced, I usually feel that the wife should drop the married name because it's bad baggage, and who wants to deal with that. But I think in this case,
well, it all depends on
business,
It would all depend on your situation. Like my wife did not take my name when we got married. The reason being is through her grandfather's company, which she has her name on some of the stuff in the company as Hughes, that she didn't want to change her name because she'd had to gone through so many processes legality-wise to change everything through the businesses that she didn't take my name.
Oh, come on.
Yeah,
this chick just wants to have the Van Halen name. You know that.
But you don't know that because you don't know if when she, and she might, but you know what? How long were they married? How long were they married, first of all?
And you know what? Also, did they have kids together? Because I feel, because my mom made a good argument when my parents got divorced, and I asked her, why do you keep our dad's name? He was an asshole. Like the first thing I'd want to do is get rid of his name. And her reason was because it's your last name. It's my kid's last name. I don't look at it as his last name. I look at it as that's my kid's last name, and that's why I want to keep it. It's not because of him. It's because it's my kids. So if they have kids together, then maybe I understand that part of the argument, but I don't really know. But yeah, I mean, I think Will's right, and that he wants to.
That is very confusing because in our household right here, my wife has 3 children. I have 3 children. Now, my 3 children do have my last name, but her 3 children, 2 of them have one last name, and the other one has another last name. She went back to her maiden name. So we have 3 different last names at our address.
So you got the Thunder Bunch going on?
We have the Thunder Bunch. Absolutely, we do.
You should
the
just
Thunder
call
Bunch.
Thunder. Do you have
well, we really do.
Here's a story of a midget named Thunder.
It'll be look, I'm telling you, be quiet now because it will. That'll be the next reality show on TLC. It'll be like Honey Boo Boo. The Thunder Bunch. That's it. That's the next reality show on TLC, the Thunder Bunch.
And now he's banging it.
Yeah, it cannot be any worse than Honey Boo Boo, I mean.
That's right. Anyway. All right, what else we got in the news, man? Let's move on from that one.
Well, no, I kind of wanted to hear Will's argument real quick before we moved on because he's so nice and always, provides an extra.
Don't you remember I said that I had 2 stories mixed up?
Oh, all right. Well, then, let's get to the perfume story then.
No, it was something that I was reading earlier, and I just crafted them together into one more male
I've
show.
got an idea right here. Let's turn this up a notch, and let's turn the comedy up a minute here. All right, we were talking earlier about us starting this new bit here with, Chris kind of heading this thing up right here.
Hold on,
let's
just
turn our...
There is one story that I want to get to real quick, and because I think it's really cool. Did you know that you can get lullaby versions of Megadeth songs?
Now that is so metal. Because if you're going to raise your kids to be little metalheads, you got to start early.
Hold on. Now, speaking of lullabies, there was we were talking last week, or maybe just a week before, about Kanye West.
Ew.
Look, I saw the greatest post online. We were talking how much of an asshole this guy is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of lullabies, I saw the best post. It showed Kanye there and the Northwest right there. And he's like, Kanye West is such an asshole, he'll write a lullaby for his daughter and get pissed off if she falls asleep halfway through his performance.
Well, the kid's got hope for good musical taste then if she's falling asleep through his crap.
And I was like, that is so funny.
Well, the Megadeth versions, I mean, it's an album of like 10 songs, including like Peace Sells, Symphony of Destruction, even Hangar 18. Yeah.
Why was that not around? Look, but you know what? My children are getting to the age where I'm going to have grandbabies.
Bullets as a lullaby. Please tell me they have that song. Because the lyrics are so creepy, like, hello, me, meet the real me.
No,
all lullabies are creepy.
There's no vocals. It's just the the little box sound.
Oh, it'd be so awesome with a music box and having some 5-year-old little girl singing Symphony of Destruction.
I'm thinking Dave needs to get back on the drugs because how did he ever think this was a good idea?
It wasn't Dave.
Are you that hard up for money?
It was some other, and they've done it for a couple other bands too. I don't have the story in front of me right now, but I'm going to post it up on the show page for tonight on Facebook. But,
oh, cool. Yeah, but I would think Dave would have to give permission for it to be made, the lullabies to be recorded into an album of some sort.
Yeah. And there's even samples. There's 1-minute samples of each song.
Oh, I need to go hear this.
Do we want to do the bit tonight, or do we want to bring in Scary Justin because it's about 1:45 now?
Yeah, we got 20 minutes until our guests come in, so we better bring in Scary Justin and get this going. We can always do the bit next week because then it gives me time to get familiar with the article you sent me and figure out what I'm calling this.
Hold on, though. We have to do it real quick. We can do each of us just say 2 things. I mean, just give it a take of what's going to happen next week because I wrote down some really funny ones.
Okay. All right. Well, the bit is, I saw this on Twitter, and I spent an hour coming up with my own ones on the Twitter page, and you can find that on Twitter at Willin Thunder, and but you can find it there, but the hashtag was 5 words that'll ruin a date. And I spent a whole hour just coming up with a bunch of different ones, and I even posted them on the Facebook page. But what we're going to do each week is come up with 5 words, and we'll have an actual title for it. But anyway, the 5, a couple of the ones that I came up with were Nickelback is better than Maiden.
Well, that's a lot of words.
That's 5 words. Nickelback is better.
Oh, I thought you meant just 5 one-word, 5 one-word phrases. Because I
got
A sentence.
A sentence of 5 words. So what we're doing is a 5-word sentence, and we'll have a headline each week. Like today is just end a date, or that'll ruin a date. Next week could be to get arrested by a cop when you get pulled over for speeding.
Yeah, because when Will said 5 words, I'm like, well, I know one of them that you don't want to hear on a date is chlamydia.
Right, no, that's one word, but it has to be like a 5-word sentence. Are you ready for this?
Okay.
Here's mine.
Okay.
You did one. You said Nickelback is better than Maiden. That's yours. You ready for my first one?
Go for it.
When will it stop itching?
So that's basically along the same lines that I was thinking, too.
Exactly, but Go ahead.
Do you have one,
Or,
Chris?
you know, one more. Yeah, you know what? My parole officer eats here. I mean, you know, like, I don't want to hear that. I just came up with that right now. Like,
That's perfect. Go ahead, Will.
I'm a big Jets
You
fan.
got what?
I'm a big Jets fan.
All right. You got the check, bitch?
Huh?
yeah, I wouldn't want to hear Green Bay best team ever. Like, I don't want to hear that.
You're at dinner, you're on a date, and you look at her, you're like, you got the check, bitch?
I thought you were paying. Is that 5 words? I thought you were.
How about
5 words. I thought you were paying.
All right, you ready for another one?
Yeah.
You sure look better online.
Oh!
It just took me like 3 minutes. I got one more.
Okay.
So can we just screw?
Oh, you know what? That's the 5 words everyone wants to hear on a date.
I got a couple more.
Oh, you know what? I think we need to get Scary Justin in here and see if he's got 5 words too.
Hold on. Okay, that's fine. But here's another one that I got. My mother lives with me.
Oh!
Well, I live with my mother.
Yeah, but that's usually what people say, like, oh, no, my mom lives with me. I don't, like, either way.
I just put the deed in her house so it looked better on my taxes.
Or it's complicated. Expired restraining order.
Yeah, no. Oh, man. We could do this.
And then
we could come up with these phrases all day.
I got one more, and then I'm gonna then we'll turn it over, and we'll get Scary Justin in here. But 5 kids from 6 dads.
Oh, yeah, that's, you know what, that is a
that's it.
It really is. But I'm sure there's somebody out there who has that problem.
5 kids with 6 dads?
Yeah, something like, I'm going on the Maury show next week, but condensed into 5 words.
5 kids with 6 dads?
Right. Well, you know, some women really like sex. I'm not going to slut shame.
I was with 2 guys, and they both. Never mind.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's why I said that. You know, she's going on the Maury show next week to find out. You know.
Well,
I slept with 21 guys. Any one of them could be the dad.
Voices. I don't listen anymore.
Let's bring Scary Justin in here, and he'll see if he's got anything, and then we'll do the horror movie trivia.
Justin's horror movie trivia on the Will and Thunder Show.
Justin. Hello. Are you guys there? Like, seriously, the studio. Yeah, the studio isn't bringing him in. It just like sits there with the little circle going around him.
Hello.
Justin, right there. We got him.
Hello. There he is. Welcome into the Will and Thunder Show.
It's Scary Justin, our movie trivia zomboy. How are you this week? Sweet.
That scared me.
I got a couple 5 words, the 5 phrases. I got a couple of phrases for you, the 5 words in them.
Absolutely, go ahead.
I'm your number 1 fan.
Oh my God, that's so perfect.
That is the best one ever. Like, I just met you.
Especially coming from Scary Justin.
Right, because it's from a scary movie. I knew that one.
Okay, I got 3 more. I will not be ignored.
Oh, you know, I know that movie too.
Look, I have one of those in my house. That's my wife says that.
Funny boy.
Oh no.
I have a mommy fetish.
Oh no.
This one will get you guys. Ignore the discharge and burning.
Oh, no.
Wow. Look, hold up. We might have you on the wrong subject right here. We really might. That was awesome.
It just came to the top of my head. I was just listening to the show. It's like, what can I add to that?
Wow. That was pretty good right there. And that's why we put these segments together. Because I'll tell you, we just went from 5 words to end a date to really horror right there. I have a mommy fetish. Oh, my goodness.
Well,
wow.
Scary Justin.
Awesome.
Tastes like burning.
You know, now I got to upload that. I tried to upload it tonight, but it wasn't going through. So I'm like, I'll try it again next time.
Did you get Allison there yet? Hot dogs.
Justin, I must say thank you. That was a perfect way to tie in these 2 segments right here. Well done, brother. Well done.
Yeah, I didn't even plan that. It just happened that way.
You deserve an applause for that.
Damn it.
Well, you know, true entertainment and
like
true entertainment and comedy cannot be planned. It has to be realistic, and that was realistic and perfect. So, welcome in and terrify us.
Yes, my specialty.
And with that voice, I really believe that.
Slap the papers around like Rush Limbaugh does.
I thought I heard
I got the papers, I actually do. Paper cuts.
Just stay off the pills, brother. Just stay off the pills.
Oh, no.
I can't find them. They ran away.
We do not condone drug use on the Will Thunder Show.
I like whiteout. They taste like evil.
We're going to have Lisa calling in again wondering if we're high. She's going to have to be the... She's going to be like, you guys are definitely high, okay? I don't believe you anymore.
God, I love you. All righty.
All right, what do you got for us?
Oh, boy. We should see my little office, unquote. Oh, God. Paper cut city. Okay. Move this crap over there. Questions over here on my mini pad. Or tablet pad, whatever you want to call it. All right. I got a couple easy and I got some hard ones.
Okay.
I don't know, how should I start? Should I start the easy ones, or?
Yeah, we got to get warmed up here.
We don't look like jackasses.
Okay. Let's see. All right. This one's pretty. Everybody should maybe know this. This one's easy. Don't say this guy's name in the mirror 3 times.
Candyman.
Yes.
Beetlejuice.
Yeah, Candyman is correct.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back to where we. I know we failed miserably last week, but let's get back to where we say our name. And whoever says their name first is the one that gets to go. And if you get it right, you get the applause. If you get it wrong, you get the jackass.
I'm just telling you straight up, in reality, I will not do the Bloody Mary or the Candyman thing because I don't know what it is. I've always been kind of freaked out about the Bloody Mary thing, and I watched the Candyman movies, and fuck that dude with the hook on him, man. I literally, you cannot get me to say it in the dark 3 times, whatever, in the light. I will not do it, period.
So who
and I'm a
answered
badass.
Candyman so I can keep score?
No, don't. Look, I'm not saying it again.
No,
I promise you.
Who answered Candyman so I can keep score, Thunder?
Oh, that was me.
Thunder did.
All right.
So
Thunder gets a point.
And the bees come out of his mouth and all that. First of all, I'm afraid of Bloody Mary.
Don't say that. Don't say that again. Don't say.
I won't.
Don't say that again. No. Chris,
and I'm in front of a mirror, which is crap.
You've already said it twice. You've already said it twice.
I know I'm not. I'm
not you, Thunder. Damn. Chris, you've already said it twice, and you've got your computer screen in front of you, which is going to show your reflection. So if you say it the 3rd time, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Okay,
and on top of that, I'm
right.
41 years old, and I've never been stung by a bee, wasp, or anything. So that's freaky.
Let's
Someone gun right there.
Because our guests are going to be calling in any minute. So.
Sorry.
All right. So another one. Okay. This one's another easy one. So lines from the movie. Don't fall asleep.
Nightmare on Elm Street. Kevin.
Well, somebody said the correct answer.
I think I said it first. It was Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
That's right. Go ahead, Will. You win. My bad. I'm calling the answer to say my name.
Yeah, we got to do this. You got to say your name first and then do it. That's the only way we're going to be able.
I know Jeopardy rules. My bad.
Oh, There we go.
All right, so we've got 1 point apiece for Will and Thunder, and I am not on the board because I suck.
I got another one.
I could say something that would ruin a date, but I won't.
Ooh.
I will just say that, okay, well then instead of saying that, I will say I'm not on the board because I am very bad at playing this game. Next question.
I love you.
This one, I don't know if anybody might know this one, but I'll just see how this one plays out. Zelda Rubinstein, the little lady from the Poltergeist, it says Carol Ann, the little short lady.
Yes.
She did this horror movie, and it's a horror movie within a movie.
Oh,
God. And it's very
odd.
It's from the 80s. I think 1987.
Man. Was it Poltergeist Part 2 that she did it? Or?
Yeah, it's the lady from the Poltergeist movies, yeah, but it's not a Poltergeist movie.
Then I can
she is
see it
so
in my mind.
creepy, too.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
really
God,
good.
I've seen it, too. I've seen it, and oh, man. I've seen it recently. Like, over the past
She plays in a horror movie inside a horror movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It starts
Is it
off with
Scream?
her.
Kevin Thunder.
What was the answer?
I was going to say Scream, but that's 90s,
Yeah.
not 80s, so.
Yeah. So far, it hasn't got remade, so that's kind of a good thing.
Okay, well, it hasn't been remade. Okay, Truth or Dare? I don't.
She is so creepy too, man.
It's one word in the title.
Which board? I don't know.
Oh, God. Damn it. Did it have sequels?
Thunder.
No,
never mind.
What have you got, Thunder?
No, I withdraw. It's got one name.
Yeah, one
you
name
don't want
is
to hear
the title.
that on a date.
Crickets.
Oh. Wow. I'm trying to picture movies that she'd be in. A little
yeah, she's in a couple, yeah. Everybody knows Poltergeist, yeah. This one I don't think a lot of people know. I remember the video box in the video store back in the day. It's a picture of her with the red spiral. It's a close-up of her face on there, which was always trippy. I always liked the cover on VHS. It's
Flowers
on DVD.
in the Attic. I don't know.
Remember when movies were on VHS? Wow, classic.
Oh, God, the glory days.
Yeah, good times.
I still have a VCR, so,
I do, too. It sucks, though.
Mid-'80s, huh?
Yes, this movie, I believe it was 1986. I haven't watched it in a while, but I own it in my collection. It's pretty good.
You'll probably have to give the answer because our guests are going to call in about 3 minutes, so
okay, yeah,
if you have more answers.
Yeah, the movie's called Anguish, like mental anguish.
Oh, okay, I never would have guessed that.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I have.
Check it out.
No.
Okay.
Whoa.
I am still not on the board.
She actually was, to be honest with you, the movie Poltergeist, she was one of the creepiest parts of that whole movie right there. And she wasn't even a ghoul, or she wasn't one of the ghosts. I remember now. Will, you remember where ECC is now? It used to be called Cinema 2.
Yeah.
That's where I saw Poltergeist. And halfway through the movie, we snuck in, me and my older brother, and we were watching halfway through, and I ran out because it was freaking me out. And I watched, they had like an old school door with the little skinny pane window. I watched the rest of the movie through that skinny pane window right there. And when the chicken started crawling, lost my mind right there. I don't even remember how old I was back then. Scared the crap out of me.
Well, you got, okay, so we didn't get that one. So I guess that's one for Scary Justin there.
Okay. So we still got Will and Thunder on the board with one apiece.
Right. And
so now,
Justin's
how are we going to
now, Justin, let's throw a wrinkle into this. How about Justin? Justin's doing this to he's competing against us, so he gets a point when we get it wrong.
Okay. Then
so
in that case, all the men of the show are on the board, and I am not. So that's easy to remember.
He would have won hands down last week.
Yeah. So who gets custody of the? So now we're deciding on who gets custody of the Krankenwelpen CD this week.
Well, Lisa still wants that, but if we
this is a nail biter. Everybody's on the board. Well, almost everybody's on the board with a point each. So.
Okay. Well, here's the deal, Chris. You have to do the tiebreaker. We all have 1 point.
I'm not getting anything.
Let's keep going until our guest gets here.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Once we see they're here, then we'll play the song.
Fine. Okay.
And then we'll...
Right.
You got more questions, Justin?
I got a couple lined up, but yep.
Absolutely. Well, let's go ahead and keep going here.
All right, this one should be fairly easy. This holiday title was banned in the fictional town in Haddonfield.
Will.
Go ahead, Will.
Halloween.
Correct.
I was going to say that, too.
Will's got 2. I've got 1. Justin, you've got 1. Fire away. Go ahead.
You are just too quick, Will.
That's what she
I
did.
got that one. I was debating between Christmas or Halloween, and I'm like, no, it's got to be Halloween. It's a scary movie. And then you already had gotten to it.
Haddonfield. That was the giveaway.
Right, yeah, the Halloween movies. I know.
Yeah.
I told you I'm a little slow on that.
Is everyone time for another one, or?
One more.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, let's do one more because our guests are here, and we're going to play a song from them and then get them on. So go on ahead, and this will be the final question of the evening. And if Justin and Will end up being tied, then maybe after the song's over we can do a tiebreaker real quick or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all right. If there's a tie, there's a tie. We can't keep our guests waiting.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, the tagline for this 1980s slasher is you don't have to go to Texas for a chainsaw massacre. That's the tagline for the movie. If you know. It has some pretty good kills in there.
Oh, man. And, and it has to do with, it's a movie that's got chainsaw killings, right?
There's a chainsaw in there, but the chainsaw's not in the title of the movie. It's another one-word
right,
title.
Right, but I'm seeing it. I think I know it, but I can't think of the title.
Some bad acting. It has some good catchphrases, but it's a grindhouse movie. I guess that's what you call it, grindhouse, and it's from I think 1983. I want to say 82 or 83.
Yeah, and I keep wanting to say Sleepaway Camp, but it's like or something like that, or one of those type of movies. But
they have one classic line, "Bastard." That's what the woman, she says it, and she just says it after somebody got hacked up to death with the chainsaw. She's just screaming, "Bastard." And it's like, that's bad acting, but everybody loves that line.
Kenny from South Park? I don't...
It has appropriate kung fu fighting in there, too, a little bit. I'm like, okay, where the hell did that come from?
I give up. How about you guys? You guys got anything?
I give up.
I got no clue.
It's called Pieces. It is exactly what you think it is.
And once again, Justin, you have...
Good stuff, Justin. Good stuff, Scary Justin. Thank you, and I guess we'll see you next week, huh?
Yeah, this week Will actually outsmarted Justin, so congrats, Will. Good job there. And I think
we were
next week
tied
we will...
2-2, right? We were tied 2-2, right?
Oh, yeah, because wait, no, I only have one Thunder, one Justin, and 2 for you. Were there 5 questions?
Justin just
stumped them right there.
You're right. My bad.
So me and Justin tied.
Well, then in that case, I think next week we should have the sudden death between Will and Justin.
Now we'll just
what we'll do is maybe we need to keep a running total here, and we'll see who can keep things up throughout the year, maybe.
We'll have like a monthly champion and a yearly champion.
There you go.
Anyway, thanks for being on the show, Scary Justin. We'll see you next week. All right, buddy?
All right, it's my pleasure to be on here. I love the show, guys.
Keep it scary.
Thank you, man. That's right. And listen next week, man, because you need to have your 5 words ready.
That's right. We don't know what the...
All right, man.
Just before you go, I got one more for you, Justin.
I'm learning.
That was just for you.
Hot dogs.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Justin. We'll see you next week. Which song do we start with?
All right. Okay, so our guests have been on hold for like 5 minutes, so let's get their song going. This is MindMaze, our guest for tonight, and this is the first single off their latest album, Back from the Edge, and it's called Dreamwalker, and it's awesome. So let's rock it out, and we will have them on the show after the song's over. All right, Dreamwalker on the Will and Thunder Show. Rock it out.
right, welcome back to the One Thunder Show. That, of course, was our guest tonight, MindMaze, with the song Dreamwalker. And I hadn't heard your stuff before, but damn.
So welcome to the show. Are you guys here?
Yep,
Yeah.
we're here. Hey,
Yep.
what's up?
Hey.
Cool. Introduce yourselves.
I'm Sarah, and I'm the lead vocalist of MindMaze.
And I'm Jeff. I play guitar.
And for those of you who are just tuning in for the first time, Sarah and Jeff are not only bandmates, they are brother and sister.
Oh, yes, we are. It's some people think we're married, so it's kind of always good to clarify that one. We're not married. We're brother and sister.
So metal is a family business.
Yep, definitely.
Well, welcome on into the Will and Thunder Show, guys, man. Appreciate it. The music was fantastic, man. You guys are killing it.
Awesome, thank you.
Thanks.
And we're glad to hear that you guys recovered from your 102-degree temperature flu, which is the reason they were not on the show last week. So hopefully you guys are feeling better.
Yeah, I mean, it was, like, pretty bad for a while there. I mean, I got sick first, and then Jeff caught it, like, a couple days later. And, I mean, thankfully he didn't get as sick as I did, but it was pretty bad. So we were just thankful that we recovered in enough time to do the show that we had this past weekend and kind of get everything together that we need to do for that. So, but, yeah, we're feeling a lot better now, so that's definitely good.
Well, cool. Tell us a little bit about that, actually, because you guys just played the Flight of the Valkyries festival with A Sound of Thunder, who are also past guests of ours and good friends of the show. And so how was that? Tell us a little bit about that and so on.
Yeah, it was really cool. I mean, the promoter that organized Flight of the Valkyries, her name's Bobby Dickinson. She's a longtime friend and fan of the band, and we've played a lot of shows that she's put together down in the Baltimore and D.C. area. And, yeah, like over the past year and a half or so, we've played down there a lot, and I think we've really established a really, solid, strong fan base down there. We probably have more of a local following there than, pretty much anywhere else, including where we're from. And, yeah, it was great. I mean, all the bands were, like, quality bands, and we play with the Sound of Thunder, like, all the time. It's actually probably rarer that we don't play with them lately than that we play with them. So that aspect of it was definitely, I don't know, to be sorry, I lost my train of thought. But, yeah, I mean, they're always
Don't worry.
fun.
We do that all the time here. It's part of our show, so it's all cool, man. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's too bad that they couldn't have brought you guys along when they came out here to the West Coast a couple months ago, because that would have been a cool show.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of a little bit, like, behind in, what we're, as far as, like, what we can do to what they're doing. I mean, they've been kind of able to, like, travel a bit more than we've been able to at this point, just kind of based on, like, our own budget and everything. And we haven't been doing this, like, super long with traveling and trying to figure out all this stuff. So we're kind of still trying to figure all that out, but we'd like to make it out there eventually. We have a bunch of people that haven't inquired about that, and it's definitely something we want to do. Specifically when, we'll get there is, something else. But, yeah, it definitely would have been cool if we could have come out with them. But we'll get out there someday.
Well, don't feel bad, because I think even the Speed of Light is behind A Sound of Thunder. As fast as they work, they have, like, an album every other week. So don't feel bad.
Yeah, I know. They talk about things, and I can't even, like, comprehend, like, I'm like, oh, you guys are doing another album. Oh, okay. Like, yeah, they literally work faster than anyone ever. So, yeah, I mean,
I don't know if it's which they work. It's just they always have stuff, like, in the pipeline. I mean, they're working, like, a year ahead at all times, whereas we're just going with it.
Yeah, it's kind of, I just, when I saw them in November, they're like, yeah, album number 6 is, already on the, on the horizon. Just, wait a minute, album 5 was just 2 months ago. like, wait a minute. But, you guys
give some time for everything to absorb in here. But, so when did you guys actually form the band that is what is now right here? You guys have been together for a little while now, but you had a couple different entities.
Yeah, when did you guys start? I mean, obviously, as brother and sister, you guys have been playing music together all your lives, or however long you've been playing music. But when did you guys decide to this was the style of music you wanted to do, or?
Well, I mean, Jeff and I, and actually, like, our drummer, Kalin, we've been playing together, like, in somewhat of a band format for, like, 11 years now. It'll be 11 years. It was, fall of 2004 that we first kind of got together and got the idea to, like, start playing. But obviously we were very young when we first started, and we were kind of just, like, messing around, and, everybody wanted to, like, learn how to play this song and that song of, like, the bands that we really liked. But, like, around, late 2004, we decided to, like, form a band. And for years after that, we actually went by the name Necromance. That was, like, our, we call it our kid band. That's what we used to be. So we did that for a number of years. We played a lot of shows, and we actually opened for some really cool bands as Necromance. We opened for Doro and Overkill and
nice.
Oliva's Pain and Circle to Circle, and we did a lot of stuff, and we really did a lot of, like, learning as Necromance. So that stuff is very, very important for where we are now. But as MindMaze, we formed in April or March, was it, of 2012? February of 2012. See, I don't even know when it was, but early 2012.
Somewhere around
we decided.
Yeah, we basically, like, we kind of came to a decision around the time that we got a new bass player and we're in the studio making our debut album, Massive Live. We kind of decided that we wanted to sort of clean the slate and start over a little bit and say, this has been cool and we want to build on this, but we kind of want to, like, reinvent this as, like, a new entity rather than kind of dragging along the baggage that sort of, like, even though it wasn't really anything that too many people really knew about outside of our own area, we just kind of wanted to, sort of clean the slate and start over. And, we picked the name Necromance when we were very young, and it wasn't necessarily the most appropriate name for the music either, and we kind of wanted to change it for that reason for a long time. And a whole bunch of factors kind of came together, and we were just sort of like, well, it's kind of now or never. If we're ever gonna change the name of this, we should do it now, and we did.
So where did you guys? I mean, how did you guys come up with the name MindMaze? Because it's a very intricate name right there if you think about it. Because if you look into yourself mentally or into other people, MindMaze, that's very. I mean, it could be very deep. It could be. I mean, or it could not be. But I think
I'm thinking it was something more simple because I wanted to ask: is it a reference to the computer program, the game, or the?
Here's the thing. It wasn't intentionally a reference to the Microsoft Encarta game, but I think that subconsciously it existed in my mind because of being aware of that when I was younger. And even though I hadn't cognitively thought of it in a long time, like, the name sort of just came to me when we were brainstorming potential names, and everyone liked it, and we kind of already sort of settled on wanting to go with it. And then we kind of were like, oh, wasn't that the name of that game in the Microsoft Encarta encyclopedia thing from, like, the late 90s? And we're like, yeah, but so it wasn't intentionally taken from there, but it maybe was subconsciously inspired by it.
Did you guys run into any copyright problems when you decided to go public with that name, or has it been pretty cool so far and no problem?
No, there hasn't been any problems. I mean, the general stance on things is, I mean, since it's not they're not actively using that anymore, so it's kind of sorry, I have a weird Microsoft.
Oh.
Like, Microsoft isn't still making the whole MindMaze game or whatever it was, and it's like, it's very obviously discernible. There's no potential confusion, which is the number one reason why people get, like, defensive of, like, name trademarks and stuff. But it's like, there was, like, no potential for confusion or anything. And it's like, I asked around some people who kind of know the law better than I do, and the general consensus was there should be no problem, and thus far there has never been a problem.
Well, that's cool. I mean, but it is a cool reference there. I mean, especially if people of that age group grew up with it, and it gets their attention. Like, hey, I remember that, and that's a cool name. And but it is a cool band name anyway. I just happened to stumble upon that reference and saw what that meant because I'm a little bit older, so I don't that game has no. I have no memories of it, or didn't even know it existed until I was reading an article about I was reading an article about something else, and that name popped up. I'm like, hey, that's the same name as this band. I have to ask them if it has anything to do with that.
Well, it is a really good
See, to me,
name.
then,
I mean,
go ahead.
it gets the point across. I mean, I was speaking with a friend of mine earlier today, and he asked me who was on the show tonight, and I said a band from Baltimore called MindMaze. He says, MindMaze.
They're
a
actually
progressive
from
metal band,
Pennsylvania.
aren't they? He says, they're a progressive metal band, aren't they? I said,
yes,
yeah.
they are, but thanks for playing.
yeah, that sounds like a name that a progressive metal band would have. So, I mean, yeah, you get out there, and if anybody knows anything about music, I mean, your target audience knows the genre before they get it. So I mean, that's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like what we were, thinking when we made the decision that we needed to change the name. We wanted it to be something that, not something that was like super stereotypical of like the metal or what we're trying to do, but something that still sounded like it was something that is a band of this style, and a name that when people heard it they would assume that they were going to hear a band of our style rather than like before when we used to go by Necromancer. I think most people thought we were like thrash or death metal.
Yeah, like
exactly.
or something.
Yeah, something that was totally not what we were doing. So we were just like, yeah, I think we wanted the name to just kind of to fit better, and everything's worked out, and we kind of just came up with the right things, and here we are now.
Quick question for you: What's the age difference between you and your brother?
We're almost 2 years, not quite. Jeff was born in September of 1990, and I was born in October of 1988. So we're not quite 2 years. I'm the older of the two. Some people don't know. Like when they look at us, I mean, they kind of either assume that some people think that we might be twins because we look like we're about the same age, but I'm actually almost 2 years older. So.
Well, September what?
So
September 1. Jeff was born on September 7th. So.
That is Will's birthday.
It is? Oh, that's cool.
That's so awesome.
It's like a parody in time right now.
Woo!
I had it first, man. It's mine.
Yeah, actually, I have an uncle whose birthday is the same day, too. It's so weird how many September 7th people I've... And his best friend growing up was also born on September 7th.
You know why that is? Think, what's 9 months back from the...
Yeah. People have a lot of sex around Christmas time. My grandmother used to say that because a lot of people in my family were born in October, like myself, and she always used to say, well, it gets cold in January. I mean, what are you going to do?
What's really funny is that, like, September 7th is it's a terrible day for like attempting to like share birthdays with like famous people from like celebrities or from history or whatever. Like it's a bad
and Elizabeth.
day for it. Yeah, that's the one basically. Everyone I know like shares their birthday with at least some big person or something. I'm like, yeah, no.
Well, Will,
now,
guess
cool
what?
About it,
you have taboo like I do. You're a September 7th baby. I'm a bass player. We're both going to die young.
Nah.
well, I was, when every few years I'll get my birthday on Labor Day, which is cool, and also every few years, like this year, I had 2014, I had the week 1 of football season on my birthday, which was freaking cool. but when I was a kid, every few years I'd get the first day of school on my birthday, which that
yeah, that's no fun.
Yeah. But anyway, that's cool. Yeah, I got a birthday buddy that's a shredder on the guitar. That's pretty freaking awesome.
There you go, man.
Fellow
yeah, that's
Virgos,
pretty cool.
So you guys are brother and sisters right here, and somewhere in your life right here, you guys are 4 or 5 years old, and together here. And what was that thing? What was the match that lit the candle right there that gets you guys to want to be metal? I mean, wanted to be musicians right there. Your parents
did you guys
musicians.
come from a metal family, or not a metal family, but a musical family, or
no,
your parents musicians?
No.
Neither
Not at all, really. See, this is what I love right here. I want to know, how did you grow to where you were to where you are right now? I mean, I want to know, like when you're 5 or 6 years old, you guys are, and now you're like fighting over toys. I'm like, look, man, get off me right here, dude. I'm gonna go take a bath. Get off me, all right? No, I want to know, how does it go from there to like, look, man, we're gonna start a band together. Because I know I've got 6 kids, and I know how much. And I've got kids that are very close to your age difference right there, with only a few months apart right there. You're like a year and a half. and it's either buddy all the time, or it's like, I hate you. How did you guys get from the, look, get off me, look, let's play guitar and let's sing and let's start a band together?
I mean, basically, yeah, like I said, we didn't come from any kind of like musical family or whatever, and our parents, we definitely didn't grow up listening to metal. Our parents kind of listened to a combination of like, classic country and like classic rock. And like, I think around the time that I was maybe 10 or so, I kind of started to, take note of like certain like, classic rock and like some contemporary rock music at the time. And it's like that kind of sparked my interest in music. And then after, a year or two, it kind of became metal and, whatever. And I actually played drums before I played guitar. I played drums for about a year, and then I played guitar and drums for about a year, and then just switched over to guitar. And around the time I switched over to guitar, I was like, well, I kind of want to start a band, and I had a friend who was a drummer, so, and yeah, Sarah always basically sang in school, like in, in like choir and stuff like that. So he had, some background in singing, so I was basically just like, well, you can sing, so why don't, basically you're there, so why don't we just do this together rather than, whatever. Because at the time we, and I mean we still do listen to a lot of the same music, whether it was because we found it through a mutual friend or, so one person found it and then turned the other person on to it. But, yeah, we were listening to a lot of the same music, and we kind of had a desire to kind of want to do the same thing, and since we were both there, it just kind of happened. But
yeah,
that
I was just about to ask, because you guys seem to have like a lot of old school metal influences, like Queensryche, Dream Theater, etc. So seeing as how your parents were not necessarily fans of that genre of music, which is how I would think most people in your age range would come into that sort of music, how did you find that kind of music? Where did you first start listening to metal, and how was your induction into the metal community? Like, who or what got you into metal?
I mean, basically, I actually think the person who got me into like kind of classic stuff for the first time was, I had an uncle that was I still have an uncle that was a big like Maiden fan, and like classic like Dio era Black Sabbath. He grew up in the 80s, and he was into a lot of that stuff, and because of my interest in certain other like classic rock stuff that I'd heard on the radio or whatever, I kind of found that stuff through him. And then once I basically fell in love with Maiden and they kind of became my like favorite band, I just kind of started exploring on my own. I joined the Iron Maiden message board, and I kind of just met people through that, and then we started to it's like people just turn you on to stuff, and I don't know. I've always had
what you just said. With what you just said right there about the whole Maiden thing right there, I guarantee you right now that Will is on the computer right now trying to find a way to adopt you right now. It's all. I mean, when you come through with the Maiden thing, Maiden made me fall in love with metal music. It's one of the bands that made him fall in love with metal music as well, right there, and loves Maiden.
Yeah, I would think. I think the majority
Maiden is like.
It was awesome
Maiden
right
is
there.
Just like a huge band for most people. I think
right.
When you're talking about people getting into metal, it's like it's usually Maiden or Priest or both. Like those are kind of.
It's definitely at least within the first 5 bands that you listen, or at least that you start listening to when you're getting familiar with the genre. Anyway, if it's not the first band, it's definitely in the top 5.
Yeah, well,
definitely.
The difference here is my first Maiden album that I that came out after I had discovered them was Power Slave.
Nice.
So.
Well, that's a good one.
Which is their best one in my opinion. So, but I've been a Maiden fan for Maiden, Priest, Striper, and Dokken was my was the 4 that really got me into metal, and it was basically I discovered the 4 of them pretty much at the same time.
There was one more too back then. And I won't call you out, but it was one of your favorite bands back then, too.
Not
You
kiss.
missed one.
So what? Everybody goes through
No,
a
no.
kiss phase.
Hey,
Well,
look,
who
there's
was it?
nothing
You're
wrong.
always- you're
There's
always
nothing
giving
wrong with
Thunder-
Kiss.
You're always giving Thunder shit about listening to Nelson, so who was it?
It was Kiss.
Okay.
It wasn't Kiss.
Well, I'm not a fan
Actually,
of Kiss, so.
Will actually had one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my life that had to do with Kiss. But anyway, we'll leave that alone.
What, you have a Kiss tattoo on your ass, Will, and you never told me.
No. It's actually
It's
more
not my-
embarrassing than that.
You know what, I don't think I want to know.
Anyway, we'll leave that for another show.
No, tell me.
Right.
What are you talking about?
Huh?
Go ahead.
The eggheads.
Dude, that was bad as shit.
Okay.
All right, Will
So-
actually had a full setup that he had made, which actually he did. He busted his balls, and it was cool as shit. Don't get me wrong here. But he had some, like, fake Easter egg to egg things that he painted the faces of all the Kiss people on them and had a full stage setup next to his bed.
I had Christmas lights, up on a coat hangers for the stage lights. I made a drum set out of like bottle caps and stuff and wrapped them with aluminum foil. Cut out guitars and glued them onto the thing. Made mic stands out of toothpicks and stuff. I mean, and then of course I put my stereo speakers on either side of the thing.
Wait a minute, and do you have a picture of this?
Unfortunately, I don't. It was badass.
Unfortunately,
It's on our Facebook.
I could probably make another one.
Look, it was awesome. It was awesome. But
And no one
yeah.
took a picture of this. This is so wrong.
All right, now, and I
See,
know
this is
that.
how, okay, for all you younger listeners out here, this is how hard life was for us before the internet days. We didn't have
Yeah, we had
to
to-
take selfies with. When we had cool shit like this, we didn't have pictures, on our phone. We didn't have cameras on our phone to take pictures with, or you actually had to go in the closet and get the big old camera, and sometimes it was just too much work, and people missed out on taking pictures of really cool shit like this.
We definitely had our mom to do that for us.
You guys are a bit younger than we are. God bless you. But when we were kids, there was a toy out there called a Weeble Wobble that was like an egg-shaped person and it had the whole play sets and everything. He made his own Kiss character, Weeble Wobbles. They're making a comeback,
Nice. Well,
really?
yeah, we know what those are. We had those when we were kids, too.
Oh, did you?
So,
Did
yeah.
you? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he made his own Kiss
I think
version.
they had them back then.
He made his Kiss version of Weeble Wobbles, and it actually was really cool because he did it. I mean, he meticulously made this, and it was a full set. I mean, now you can go out there and you can buy the McFarlane replicas with the stage sets and everything. No, he did everything, and he made cardboard boxes.
It looked like
he
an
took
arena.
matchbooks. Yeah, he made matchbooks. He took matchbooks, and I can't even say that, matchbooks, and
Well,
made
we only have
like
we have an interview to do, so while
that's
you
true.
figure that out.
Anyway, yeah, I'm trying to say one word and I can't even say it. But anyway,
We'll
no, he
need
did a really
to
good
put
job on
this
it. But
stuff on-
anyway,
We'll
but
need
yeah,
to get a
Kisses.
Pinterest page.
I could make another one. It might take a while, but I
All
can
right.
make another one.
Will is very talented when it comes to arts and crafts. Anyway.
That's what I'm saying. He needs to put up an Etsy page or something.
Oh, you have no idea. You have no idea. The things I've seen this guy do with popsicle sticks is ridiculous.
So yeah, if
Anyway.
you guys need somebody to set up your stage, then Will's your man. He'll get the macaroni and the glitter.
Yeah, when we decided to
That was so wrong. That was so wrong. We're talking like Hollywood miniatures here.
I'd like to get to the point where we have a stage set that someone could replicate with macaroni and glitter. Like, at this point in time, we don't really have such a thing. So, yeah, when we get to the point where we would have an actual stage set that someone might want to replicate in some way, that would be pretty awesome. So.
What we'll do is we'll have Will get on it right now tonight when we get off the show. And that way you guys can take pictures with your cell phones and have a little miniature and be like, oh, this is our stage set for next week. And they're like, really? It'll look realistic? Anyway, no.
Yeah, put that on Kickstarter. I'm telling you. It's going to be the stage set of the future. Everybody's going to be like, I want a macaroni stage. Designed by Will.
Why do the light cans look like thimbles? That's just a new thing. Shut up.
It's all right,
Anyway.
Thunder. It's all right.
All right, well, welcome back to the Will and Thunder Show. Now.
Put your helmet back on.
Hey, stop it. I haven't taken my helmet off.
Who is
I know better than that. I don't want to fall down and hurt something.
Hold on.
All right.
I think we have there's a oh God, I can't see it. Jim Gerald? Does that name ring a bell? Jim Gerald?
Oh, somebody in the chat room.
Yeah.
Yeah, I recognize that name. That's definitely somebody we know.
Is he like
From
your
what?
super fan?
Yeah, he's like he's from like our area, and he promotes our stuff online and stuff, and he's a pretty good fan of the band, and he always shares our stuff, and he's a good supporter, and so it's cool that he's in your chat room.
He likes your macaroni idea, Will.
He's here. He's here, and he's saying hi. It says it's way past Sarah's bedtime.
It actually is entirely too far past my bedtime, but nonetheless,
thank
carry
you
on.
for staying up past your bedtime to talk to us, and so I was gonna say, I mean, you guys just put out a new album, and it's your second album.
Yeah. Yep. That's
MindMaze, I mean.
Album.
Okay. Well, cool. I mean,
real albums of Necromancer.
Yeah, we did like a demo thing that we have, like that we put out on a CD in like 2009. It was as Necromancer, but it wasn't really an album. It was kind of like a demo. So yeah, the two albums that we have with MindMaze are pretty much the only real albums that we put out.
Cool. So
let's play another song, but we're kind of we're getting a little close on time. So let's play another song. This one's called Back from the Edge. Is that on your first album or the demo?
No, it's the title track of the new album. Do you guys have a story about that or anything you want to share before we
I mean, just with this song, I tend to kind of like to keep the opening tracks of the album, because I mean, Never Look Back was the opening track of Mask of Lies, and I kind of have just sort of established a pattern that I kind of like to keep the opening tracks to be somewhat like positive and kind of like they're somewhat inspirational and kind of definitely have a positive attitude, and that's just kind of sort of the feel that I usually like to have. So this song kind of is the same as Never Look Back in that regard. So yeah, it's just kind of like a positive song. It's one with a positive message, kind of about getting ready to like take the reins back from all the people that have messed with you in the past, and it's time to take matters in your own hands and stuff like that. So that's basically what it's about.
Well, this
cool.
is
yeah, let's listen to the track then.
This is Back from the Edge on the Will and Thunder Show. We'll be right back. That, of course, was Back from the Edge by MindMaze. We're back on the Will and Thunder show. I just uploaded that little clip. I couldn't resist. I wish I'd had it.
I'm telling you right now.
That was awesome.
Unbelievable.
Thank you.
It wasn't ridiculous. It was unbelievable.
It was unbelievable. I mean, it was ridiculous, but I said it all the time. It was unbelievable. And first of all, let me give you props as a vocalist right there. See, a lot of times when you have a female vocalist, they rely on so much on the soprano end and the higher end of things. I love that you sit right there in the middle and powerhouse the vocals right there. I love that. That right there just shows, like, look, I want to punch you in the face with what I'm saying right here. I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to try and sweet shit up, and I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, look at me. I'm going to punch you in the face because I'm a fucking metal singer, and that's who I am. And I can hit the notes I want to hit where I want to hit them in the range that I want to because I want to punch you in the face with it. I love that. Love that sound.
Well, thank you. That's awesome. I mean, it's good to hear like positive comments in that regard because I mean, yeah, we're certainly not doing like the stereotypical, female fronted metal thing. We're not like a symphonic metal band, and like, yeah, I don't sing like operatic style or sing really high or anything like that. And I mean, if that, a lot of people are into that sort of thing, and we have a lot of fans that really like, all those kinds of bands, and that's cool. Like, I respect them and stuff. It's just that that's not really what we're trying to do. And it's like, it's just kind of weird sometimes because there aren't a whole lot of female singers really out there trying to do what I'm doing. So sometimes, the response is kind of mixed. It's like, some people seem like they don't really know how to, like, deal with it because they're just like, I've never, I haven't really heard a bunch of other singers sing like this, so I'm not really sure what this is.
Well, there's a place for everything right there, and there's nothing wrong with that melodic and, as you're saying, that type of music. And I like that as well. But with the music that you guys are playing right there, I love the power that you're putting right there. I love that. And you're not going on the other end either. You're not doing that deep growl. Look, I'm Kitty, and I'm gonna, scream and holler or anything. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sing to you, but I'm gonna put it to you the way I want to, and I really enjoy that. I think that mid-range right there, I don't think that you'd have a problem hitting the high range.
I mean, well,
in your voice. When you need me, you'll hit that high note. But when you just sit there in that mid right there, like metal music is right there, in the mids with the highs when you need them, and you can powerhouse your way through it. I just think that right there fits your music, the band that what you're doing right now. It fits better than you trying to sing 10 octaves higher. I think it sounds great. I really like that sound.
Well, how long have you been singing? When did you first decide you wanted to start singing? Or
well, I mean, like kind of when I was a little kid. I mean, the biggest thing I think that really kind of first started the whole like I like singing was, I think most kids, especially growing up at the time that, people of our age did, Disney movies were like such a big thing. And I remember when the Disney movie Pocahontas came out, that was like the coolest thing for me, and I just loved that. And I always wanted to like sing the songs from that, and and then other Disney movies too. That was just when I was like a little kid, that was kind of where it started. And then like when I was in school and stuff, I was actually more into the like instrumental side of music. I play the flute, and I also play the oboe. It's kind of weird instruments, but I was always like really big on like orchestra and like band oriented stuff, and that was kind of all what I did with music. But then like when I was about like 13 or so, or when I was in the 8th grade, one of my music teachers that I had, like we had to do some singing exercise, and he basically just kind of said, I really think you should like join choir. Like, I think you sound like you have a good voice. And that was kind of what started that. And then like all through high school, I was in, all kinds of singing groups, like different kinds of choirs and all that. And I mean, yeah, for me as like a female singer, like I have the like lowest voice part of like a female singer. I always sang like the lowest voice part. And so for me, like singing all that super high stuff, like I can sing some of it, but it's not really where my voice is like the most comfortable. It's not where I think my voice sounds the best. I have kind of a lower voice, so when I sing in like the mid and like lower range, that's where I sound like better. So it's like it kind of just made sense for me to just sort of do that. And then a lot of the singers that I listened to, especially in metal, obviously were male singers. So I kind of just took a lot of influence from that. I really didn't like listen, I mean, there are a couple female singers that I really like. I love Pat Benatar, and, you know, she was a big influence, but most of my...
Yeah, you can tell when you listen to your voice that you have that same sort of sensibility.
Oh, cool. That's cool. Thank you. But, yeah, most of my influences were male singers, so I kind of just took from that a bit. So it kind of, the vocal melodies and everything like that are, you know, kind of more influenced by those kinds of singers, and particularly like the biggest ones that I always say, like Russell Allen from Symphony X is my favorite singer. Like he's like the number one for me and biggest influence on. And like Glenn Hughes is like another big one. I really like like kind of like the bluesier sort of rock style singers in metal bands. That seems to be like what I tend to just really like for whatever reason. So, I mean, obviously like Bruce Dickinson is a big one. I mean, like, yeah, we were all into Maiden like so heavily, and we always wanted to like do Maiden songs and this and that. So, like Bruce is a huge influence for me too. But you know, in the same token, like somebody like Bruce took a lot of influence from like guys like Ian Gillan and stuff, so it's kind of coming from like the same wheelhouse as like Glenn Hughes and those kind of like rock singers. So, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much that.
That's awesome. But well, how about you, Jeff? I mean, who are your influences as a guitar player, or when did you decide that was your instrument of choice, or you know, have you been playing like since you were a kid, or was it something you picked up later on?
Like I said a bit earlier, drums were actually my first instrument prior to guitar. But I don't know. I mean, I still enjoy playing the drums. I still do from time to time. I'm just not really, you know, good enough and interested in like pursuing it as like a real thing. But I started playing guitar, I think, when I was about 11 or 12, I think. And I, you know, got an acoustic guitar and, you know, tried to just kind of like learn chords and whatnot. And then after a couple months, I, you know, graduated to getting an electric guitar. And yeah, I think, like I said, I think I started. It was like the summer before I turned 12, I think. And that was right around the time I was, you know, really getting heavily into all of this metal stuff. And I mean, Maiden was basically the band that like really made me want to play guitar, because I mean, there's so much great guitar in their music. And I mean, Adrian Smith has pretty much always been like who I would call like my number one influence. And I think I've taken a lot of like bits and pieces of his like soloing style and sense of melody and solo composition. And I always liked that he was, you know, I felt he was always a strong songwriter too. So I tend to really like guitarists that are not just guitarists, but, you know, yeah, songwriters and in some cases.
You couldn't pick a better mentor right there. I mean, you look at Iron Maiden, and I remember the band right there. When you go from Bruce Dickinson, and I mean, me as a bass player, I mean, I think Steve Harris is one of the most amazing bass players I've ever seen in my life right there. He's got the fastest fingers you've ever seen in your life right there. And a true bass player plays with his fingers. And, I mean, just dead on, man. The guy's ridiculous. He can play that fast. And look at the drummer right there. And he can make a run with the drummer and make the drummer look slow. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, everyone in that band is super talented. But
my goodness.
I need to bring this up. Oh, go ahead, Will.
I need to make the announcement. It's 5 minutes.
Yeah, I was just about to do that.
I should have done this. I should have done this in 3 more minutes, so I could have said it's 2 minutes to midnight. Oh well. But it's 5 minutes to midnight, and you know, the hand that threatens cut off. At midnight, the show will effectively go off the air unless you're called in. Those of you in the chat room, I don't know if you'll still be able to hear it, but don't worry, sometime in the next 24 to 48 hours, I will have the show in its entirety uploaded on YouTube, and you'll be able to catch what you missed there. But the show will keep going. It's just at midnight we lose our broadcast. So
do you guys want to play the last song then before the end of the hour so everybody can hear it? Or
that'd be a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay,
and, also, one other thing, Steve Simber says hi.
Oh, hello.
All right.
Hello,
Steve.
Thank you for coming in and being a part of the show, man.
Thanks for tuning in. But, okay, well then the last song you guys picked for us to play tonight was End of Eternity, which I think is the final track on the album. Is there a story there or anything you want to share with the listeners before we go into overtime?
It's actually not the last one, but
Oh, my bad.
Yeah. Close enough. It's almost the last one. So
the penultimate track.
As far as this song doesn't. I picked a bad song as far as like something with a specific story. Some of our songs have like very specific things. I mean, this one was kind of just like me being in my own head, like thinking about, this life or the next, or that sort of thing, and like what we're meant to be here for now, or like if we had previous lives, or kind of just thinking about that sort of thing, and your existence as your life right now and stuff like that. So that's kind of just what I was thinking about when I wrote it. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
That sounds like a cool topic to me. Well, let's check it out then before we go into overtime. And for those of you who are tuning in through the chat room, like Will said, the rest of it will be up on YouTube in the next day or so. And we're going to continue with the band after the song. And here it is, MindMaze, End of Eternity. Enjoy. Rock it out on the Will and Thunder Show.
All right, welcome back to the Will and Thunder show. That, of course, was End of Eternity by MindMaze. And it looks like the chat room, the people in the chat room have been cut off, too. I wasn't sure if that would happen or not. But, like I said, we've got the... we've still got the...
I'm going to call Obama right now and ask him why the fuck that's happening. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
we
I think Blog Talk had that problem before.
Yeah, we could call Satan.
NORAD doesn't cut off at 11 o'clock, damn it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we shouldn't call Satan. He never answers the phone, so, yeah, that's not going to work.
Damn.
Yeah, Justin says he's still holding on, listening to the show through the phone, but, yeah, I think the chat room is... Yeah.
Anyway, MindMaze, thank you guys, man. That song was awesome, man.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Well, no problem. Thank you for having us on the show.
Yeah, I was going to say, you were saying that before the song that you guys had other songs with more interesting stories. It's like, unfortunately, due to time constraints, like all the songs that probably have interesting stories are all above the 4-minute mark that we can kind of work with.
all the songs, all the songs on our first album are above the 4-minute mark. So I'm like, well, we're going to be going with songs from the new album because, that's, that was something that we really actually, that was a piece of, constructive criticism that we did really kind of listen to when we went to, go make a second album. There were a lot of comments, in reviews of Mask of Lies, kind of just, politely, saying that, oh, this is really good and these songs are good, but, maybe there's something you guys can do to try and, cut out some of the excess fat and maybe get rid of some of the repeated parts that don't maybe need to be there again or whatever. And, we kind of really thought about that when we were writing the songs for the second album. So we ended up with a bunch of songs that were, generally shorter. Now, we still have a couple songs, the ones with the real specific stories are, the 10-minute-long songs that we have. But, we still have some songs that are super long, but the songs that are, intended to be shorter kind of songs are coming in, under, the 4-minute mark or, 4.5 minutes or something right there, rather than, 5 or 6 minutes, for some of the quote-unquote shorter songs. So, that was definitely... it's kind of a good thing that we can do that with this new album, because that was something that we worked on and wanted to change, so...
Yeah, because, that is a huge complaint with a lot of people who are not really, really into progressive-style music. It's just, the music's great, but the songs are just too long. And me, I don't have a problem with that. But I know a lot of people are just, the music's great, but I don't have time for a 20-minute song with a drum solo or a solo for every instrument. And I do like that your music is very obviously progressive. And, I almost want to say, but it's such a generic term, but I guess if I had to ask people what, people were to ask me what you guys are like, I would say maybe a female-fronted Dream Theater kind of, but not without all the, like you said, all the fat. And don't get me wrong, I love Dream Theater, but I understand people's gripes with them when they say, their songs are way too long and they go too overboard on stuff way too much, and you guys are nice and
circus-style breakdown keyboard solo section, then, that's getting to be a little bit much. I kind of, I really like Dream Theater, but I kind of have to agree with some of those. It's sometimes they just have parts of songs that I'm like, this is kind of silly. Did this really need to be there? But...
Well, for example, and the album that I really first noticed stuff like that on, where it's just does this really need to be there, was Metallica's "And Justice for All." And there's one song on there, I think it was Dyer's Eve, where it's literally just 3 minutes of just going, jun, 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 just with nothing else going.
Yeah.
The drums going boom, bam, boom. And it's just 3 minutes of that. Really? Does that? And I was like, I don't know, I want to say I was 14 or 15 when that album came out. And even then, I was still just a baby playing guitar. And even then I was just like, really?
Yeah. No, I
think
totally...
that was when Metallica tried to be progressive, wasn't it?
No, that definitely wasn't progressive, but it was...
I know,
I'm
still... joking, Will.
Yeah.
It was a little joke.
Okay.
Jokey joke.
Well, it wasn't funny.
All right. Well, we have always said that the Will and Thunder show is not going to fall back on comedy if the show doesn't work out. So.
When did we say that?
Okay. Onward.
Yeah, I guess. Unfortunately, I kind of hate to do this, but if you guys had any final questions, we'd be happy to answer them. But I know I have to go to bed because I have to go to work tomorrow because I'm like lame and have a day job and stuff.
Oh yeah, you should have said something. I'm sorry. Yeah, go. I
planned on like staying up, to do this and everything. So I kind of figured I'd be, here till at least midnight. So it's not really a big deal, but
Well, any plans to come back to Florida?
Definitely. There's nothing like booked at this point. But we had such a great time when we played in Florida at the Land Rock and Metal Festival that if we're not coming back to that festival this coming fall, we already talked about trying to come back to Florida on our own and like play like Tampa and Orlando and maybe another show or something like that. So it's definitely something that we're going to be doing at some point. We'll definitely be back to Florida for sure.
Okay,
I guess my question before you guys go would. Oh, I'm sorry, Will.
Oh, that's home for me and Thunder, but and I'm actually moving back there sometime this year, hopefully sooner rather than later. So if you're coming to Florida, definitely let me know and I'll be there.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was just going to say, hopefully we can get you guys back on the show in the near future when you don't have to work the next day. And I was going to ask, before you guys go, can we get more info on the show with Doro and maybe like a place where people new to your music can like download your stuff or what's your Spotify or whatever?
Oh yeah. Well, the show that we're doing with Doro is in Philadelphia. It's going to be on Tuesday, March 3rd. It's actually the first show of her tour that she's going to be doing. There's a couple other like local openers. So I mean, as far as when we'll be playing, I couldn't really say any specific details about that. But we are selling tickets to the show in our online web store, so you can get tickets from us. It should be a really super cool show. We had, last time we opened for Doro, we were still Necroman. So I mean, it's been a number of years. I think it'll go really well. It went pretty well for us back then, and I think we've kind of come a long way since then, and we're better now. So that should go. That should be a great show. It should be a lot of fun.
And what is your website for people who want to buy tickets?
It's www.mindmazeband.com. And we've got the tickets on there. Both the albums are on there. We have album artwork shirts for both the albums on there, too. You can also get, you can get the albums physically and digitally on Amazon, both. Also, CD Baby has digital versions. And we have a Bandcamp page as well that, has, you can download stuff digitally there and buy physical copies. So there's a bunch of different places. But, yeah, our website, www.mindmazeband.com, that's really got, everything there. So if all else fails, you can kind of go there. And we've got links to, some of those other places, too. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on the show and taking time out of your busy schedules. And have a great time with the show with Doro. Good luck with all of that, and hopefully we can get you guys back on in the near future when there's not too much going on, and you guys can update us on all that. But if you could just send us the info about the Doro show closer to when it's happening so we can share it on our Facebook with everybody, and so we can get as many of our listeners in the Philly area to come see you, because this is an awesome band, as you guys have heard tonight on the show. So support local music and go see awesome bands, because today's underground bands are tomorrow's superstars, as I always say. So, thank you guys.
Us. Yep, thank you.
Thanks for being on.
you.
Yeah, it's good luck with the new album. Back from the Edge is the new album. Check it out on their website, Facebook, etc. And we couldn't say it enough what a pleasure it was having you on the show. And Thunder, Will, you guys have anything to ask them or say to them before they have to go to bed?
We're not worthy! We're not worthy! We're not worthy! We're not! We suck!
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Thank you guys.
A better way to, end the day. So thank you so much.
Yes, thank you guys for being our first guests of 2015, and good luck to you in the upcoming year, and best wishes, and hopefully we can have you guys back on in the near future.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
All right, good night. Talk to you later.
Thanks.
Good night, everybody. We'll see you next week with the legendary Central Florida iconic band Dead Serious. This is the Will and Thunder Show, and we're done.
Will and Thunder Show, brought to you by Professor Slaughter of Krankenwelpen. Side effects may include itchy, watery eyes, low retail on their home, and painful erections. Guaranteed.
The dreaded vending machine. You stand before it, tasked with the ultimate decision. Decade-old donuts at B7 or empty calories at E4. Yummy. Let Walmart's low prices help you snack smarter with 5.3-ounce Oikos 000 Greek yogurt for $1 and 4 packs of Light and Fit protein shakes on rollback for $5. Smart Snacker 1, vending machine 0. Start strong, save big, Walmart.
CRV deposit fee and tax may apply.
Blog Talk Radio.
Basically.
What the hell is that?
I'm sorry. Well.
Welcome to the Will and Thunder Show. Will and Thunder Show. Thunder. Will and Thunder Show.
Welcome to the Will and Thunder Show.
Woo! Welcome in. It's Tuesday night. Yes, I said Tuesday night. Tuesday is the new Friday, especially with the Will and Thunder Show on. Especially, we're back in the saddle again. Back into this. It's January 2015, and we're ready to rock and roll, man. Getting back to the format of things. We got a great band coming on here for you tonight, man. I am Kevin Thunder, and had a little episode on Facebook today. Someone was asking what they should do on a Tuesday night, so I was telling them come check out the Will and Thunder Show, and they're like, "What's the Will and Thunder Show?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's the most fun you can have on a Tuesday." They said a Tuesday. I said, yes, a Tuesday. Come check it out. They're going to change a restaurant from TGI Fridays to Thank God It's Tuesday. Then they're going to play the Will and Thunder Show. Come on now, come in and have some fun. How you doing there, Will?
I'm doing great, but I mean, it sounds like it's the most fun you can have inside an aluminum can.
Really?
Yeah, Thunder, you really need to give up that headset or whatever you're using because it sounds like the aliens have come or.
Well, maybe I am in an aluminum can, and maybe I am having fun. You need to ask what's in the aluminum can.
It's no fun if we can't hear you.
What's in the aluminum can?
All different sorts of frosted malted beverage, maybe.
Jealous.
I think it's pretty cramped in there, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be?
Well, he is
I am
short.
the Thunder Midget.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that could
A
be a nice
16-ounce can.
A nice coat. Damn. Well, we got a really cool show for you tonight. We've got the return of Scary Justin. He's coming back with some movie trivia. I think he's got 3 ridiculously hard questions for us to make us look like complete asses. Even though we do a good enough job of that on our own, he thinks that he can do a better job. And if we're going to use last week as a measuring stick, then he's right.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Last week, completely looked like idiots on there.
And, I mean, you know what? But the thing is here, that this is going to tune us up, get our horror film knowledge up there, and it'll help the fans as well. So, I mean, we'll just go and have a little fun with this, and Justin might learn us a thing or two.
Right.
Yeah, we learn a lot about horror movies, and well, last week was great because we had Kronkenwelpen on with us, and whenever they come on the show, it's always just, the crazy factor always just goes up a couple more notches, so that's always fun.
It gets 10 to 11.
That's right.
Definitely. It gets turned a little bit more than 11 with Kronkenwelpen here.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
But that's why we love them.
We've also got a brand new bit tonight. Chris, the Lady in Black, has a little bit, and it was kind of inspired by something on Twitter, but we're going to kind of take it and run with it and do it every week, and we'll talk more about that later. We'll be doing that probably around, 11:40 or so, right before we bring Scary Justin on.
Well, Will's the one who found this, and so I'll let him do it for the first time this week, and then I'll take over from then on out. But yeah, it's mainly because I'm still trying to think of what we're going to call it. So, because that's how we roll on the Will and Thunder show, by the seat of our pants.
That's right, seat of the pants, off the cuff. Why not?
That's right.
Oh man, so is Peyton Manning going to retire?
I don't know. What a week it is. Yeah, that was kind of a, they come out with reports now that, for the last month he's been playing injured. And, why not just come out and say, look, I've been in the league forever. I'm not as good as I used to be. I'm older. People understand my play. I'm not as mobile as I was. I might not have the arm I used to have. Why does it have to come down to that? Why can't we just have dignity anymore? And say, you know what? The games, I'm playing against 23-year-old kids that are 400 pounds and can run a 4.40, and I just, not as quick as I used to be.
Right.
Maybe he hasn't announced he's retiring yet because he hasn't found a way to put it to the nationwide jingle.
Right, and whether he retires or not, this,
Am I the only one who got that joke?
Hey.
I think it's time to retire.
Well,
Something
it
like
does. I can't play that good anymore. Or I don't know.
I can't play that football.
Time to sell more pizzas.
You know what? We better stop before Nationwide comes after us. The aliens will be the least of our problems.
Look, that's why I'm doing mine one off right there.
There you go.
But yeah, I mean, look, man. There's a commercial out there right now, speaking of football. The Joe Montana commercial. Not the Papa John's one, but the other one where they're all sitting there. It was last night during the college championship game.
We talked about that last week.
It is so funny. Right? Well, I saw it for the first time, and that is the most hilarious thing I've ever seen right there. He just puts his hand up there, and he's like, yeah, that's nice. Nice compliments, guys. That is hilarious.
Yeah.
Man, look, and I looked at his hand, and those championship rings have to weigh, 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds apiece. Look, man, that is ridiculous right there.
Makes
I don't know how he
wonder,
put his hand up to his face.
He puts his hand up to his face and knocks a tooth out.
Oh, mercy. Lucky he didn't dislocate his jaw trying to hold on to it. But anyway. But, yeah, I think Peyton Manning, he's on the cuff right now. He's going to do the Brett Favre thing. I think he'll probably come back this year. They were out talking today where Elway's already said that he wants him back. And so they'll probably be in, contact with him in talks. And he'll probably come back and play one more year, is what I think. But now with looking at it, you have to see they have a lot of free agent players on that team that could go elsewhere, and this could be a whole new team. Now they're going to have a new coach, obviously, but so that's the big thing right there is seeing who they can keep on the team to try and keep Peyton there. And if he does come back, is this going to be that season like the Dan Marino last season where he should have retired the year before, or is he going to go ahead and bow out gracefully? I mean, he didn't have a bad season this year. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he didn't go out on top, but, I mean, I think it would be in his best interest probably to retire now, and I think the best thing for him would be to go into coaching.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't know.
Sorry, I'm typing an email. Well, go on, do the show, guys.
You need some help there.
I'm just saying, That's the only thing I was thinking about.
You need some help there, Will, right there.
Hey, I may have an announcement that would require a drum roll here. So just,
well then in that case, let me do that.
Well, I don't know yet.
Not yet.
Okay. All right.
Anyway,
Premature
as we were
drum
saying, and about football, last night was the college national championship game, and the Ohio State Buckeyes did take it. And I'm not going to take it away from them. They do deserve it. I mean, to win a football game after giving the ball back to the other team 4 times.
Yeah.
You got to give them their props. I mean, offensively, they were definitely better than Oregon was. They had Oregon figured out, and I'll tell you what, Ohio State, they can run the ball. They can run the ball very well. It was ridiculous. I mean, some of the holes they were opening up right there, you could have drove a space shuttle through. I mean, forget a semi-truck. I mean, you could have put the space station through them.
Yeah, you could have driven one of the crawlers that carries the space shuttle through it.
Oh, man, it was insane.
They had enough time for something like that to get through as well.
Oh, man. I mean, but, Oregon, they stayed strong the first half. They created a couple turnovers right there. Ohio State gave them a couple turnovers. It looked like it was going to be close, and then the second half, Ohio State just came out. They held on to the ball. They figured out, I don't know, they went and put some, super glue on their hands to quit throwing the ball away, but they came out there and they played well. I mean, it was great. And then just insult to injury, the very, end of the game, minute or so left, they punch it back in, to score one final touchdown.
Of course. That's what happens when you don't have any teams from the South in there.
And,
I keep hearing people talk about the ACC and SEC. Where, you know what? The 2 teams that were there deserve to be there.
I know. Florida State got their asses handed to them by Oregon. So, I mean, whatever. But what Jameis Winston sent a tweet out like after they got their asses. He says, yeah, we lost, not happy about it, but hey, at the end of the day, we'll still have the exact same number of losses as the champ.
I understand that, but I mean,
that's a way to look at it.
And I understand what you're saying right there. But in the same aspect, do you really think that FSU could have stood up to Ohio State?
I think they could have, Ohio State, it's smash mouth football, and that's what Florida State plays. So, yeah.
I don't know if I agree with you there. I think Ohio State was the better team right there. And, Oregon, I mean, Oregon is that fast, confuse you offense right there, and they just slowed them down. They beat them in the trenches on both sides of the ball, and that's where it is right there. And, I really think that, Florida State, as good as they are, I mean, they're not a one-trick pony, but, I mean, they have Winston and they have that one receiver. But beyond that, they're not that deep. They don't have that depth. And I don't think that they could have pulled it off. I really think that Ohio State would have come through victorious on that end, too. I don't think they, I don't know. I mean, that's just my opinion. I think that Ohio State was the better team, which is hard for me to say because I really dislike Ohio State.
Yeah, especially with all the class, how they so tactfully burnt their whole freaking college down after the win.
And, and that makes me madder than anything. And it's not just Ohio State. That's anything in the United States. With everything that's going on around this country right now, all the shit that's going down in Paris, and, there's ISIS and all that, and people across the world in countries like Rwanda and things like that who might have a march because they want to eat dinner tonight. They're going to have a rally or they're going to have a riot because of religious persecution. And we go, our team won, so we're going to burn down the city. You jackass.
Exactly.
Good for you. Yeah, your team won, and you're going to go out and get your T-shirt tomorrow that says Ohio State champions, but where are you going to stay tonight because you burned your apartment to the ground because you're trying to light your couch on fire, you jackass.
That's probably why we don't have a team in L.A. anymore, because we riot and burn down shit even when the team wins. Like when the Lakers won the championship, we burnt down shit.
That's it. The Lakers won. Burn it to the ground.
Yeah, well, I didn't burn